Hi, good morning. Hope you enjoyed that feature where Thelma went underground down a hole to look for gold. And it was really, really interesting on May Day. You can get the videos on our Facebook page, GTV Ghana, for more. That's where you want to go. We're going to have a conversation now on what's happening in the news. I'm sure big headlines will have to be IMF, Kumawu, and Rice. Not necessarily in that order, but those are the big things that people are talking about. And my guest is Mr. Saka Salia. He's a member of the MPP's communication team. Saka, salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa
It's good to have you
rahmatullah.
here.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
All right. And how are things going for the election, the by-election that is happening tomorrow in Kumawu?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to say good morning to everybody watching GTV this morning and then the MPP fraternity. I mean, we all know that Kumawu by-election is coming on tomorrow, Tuesday. And we also know that when it comes to the Kumawu seat, it has always been the preserve of the MPP. I mean, that is one of our strongholds. Ghana here, I mean, it will take somebody who is not politically initiated to say that any other political party will win the Kumawu election apart from the MPP. And especially based on the fact that this government has done well, despite the fact that we are going through temporary economic challenges. And if you put all these things together, you come to the irresistible conclusion that indeed the MPP is going to take Kumawu. Especially,
the country is in debt. We just went to the IMF and we were given the first tranche of a $3 billion facility. How can that be doing well?
oh yeah, I mean
We
that's
spent
what
more than we earn.
not really, but the most important thing is that our revenues slump.
Have we not spent more
All
than we
be,
earned?
pardon?
Have we not spent more than we've earned?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if in the normal scheme of things, it's not as if the spending is out of the roof. It is because the revenues, the shortfall was so much, and then the expenditure was something that you could not even say that you wouldn't. It was a necessary expenditure. For instance, I mean, if within the period of COVID, everybody knows that economies of the world have crunched. Only few countries, even had positive growth, about 20, and Ghana was one of them. But even within that period, you also know that Ghana is one of the most open economies in the world. I mean, our economy is open to almost all countries, due mainly to the fact that because of the structure of the economy, we rely so much on import and other things. And when other economies are reeling under the economic devastation of COVID, it will definitely ebb into Ghana. And that is the reason why we are in that situation. And it came with spending, extra spending that were not budgeted for. And apart from those extra spending that was not budgeted for, revenues definitely will have to slump because of the fact that we were not even working. People were not coming to work. I mean, we were in lockdown. There was a break in economic activities and all those. So definitely, I mean, and it will take time for us to recover. So when people talk as if Ghana is an island, and therefore should be isolated from the world economic challenges. I say that, I mean, this is just politics. Those who really understand, the world economic challenges knows very well that Ghana is not in isolation. The IMF told us that about half of the world is knocking on their doors for support. Even our neighbors, almost all of them are seeking support from the IMF. Even those whose economy is even being aided by their colonial masters, like the Francophone countries and all those. You all know that Francophone countries, when it comes to inflation, they are always immune, more or less, from inflationary pressures. But in this particular situation, go to Togo. Their inflation have skyrocketed. Almost all the other countries, and all of them
What is the Togolese inflation? Right
now it's about 6%.
What is what is Ghana's?
But no, and come on.
Ghana's is 41.
No, you see, at a point, Togo inflation sometimes can remain 1% for a very long time.
Our inflation
1% for a very long time.
Yes.
They move even up to about 10 before even coming back.
We are at 41%. Why are we comparing ourselves with Togo?
You see, we are 41% because that has always been the problems that faces us, that we are faced with. That's the reason why if you go to Togo, you can have this jeans. The price can remain the same for 20 years because their currency is not being devaluated with reckless abandon. The currency is stable, and therefore you can have stable inflation and all that. But our case is always different. But if in the circumstances where even those relative stable countries are also suffering, look at even the West, the U.S. I mean, the U.S. they face the worst inflation in their history. The UK the same. Almost all other countries. Every country has double or even triple their debts. Debt to GDP. I was just watching the 100th country with the highest debt to GDP. Ghana is nowhere near those.
So in your estimation, Ghana is doing well?
Yeah, of course. I am saying Ghana is doing well.
Compared to?
Compared to what we were doing in the past.
Really?
Oh, yeah. What we were doing in the past under
inflation?
No, you see, I am saying that what happened to Ghana, if not because maybe we had competent managers of the economy, the devastating effect would have been felt much more than it is today.
Our economy is already devastated. That's why we've gone to the
IMF. It is
for $3 billion
because of the external factors. We all know that. I mean, if you are faced with COVID, that has never happened in the history of the world. Apart maybe in the 1900 when we have that flu. I mean, it wasn't 1900 when we had that flu, the Spanish flu, and those times the economies were not open, and therefore, what happened then could not have affected other countries so much. So it was just about the disease itself, the mortality and all that. But we are talking about a situation where, apart from the lives that the disease caused, it came with economic problems. There was break in almost everything. So what we experienced with COVID has never been experienced in the world before. So this is the first time. So for anybody to say that, because maybe the structure of your economy is such that any external shock would definitely have effect on the economy, because of that, maybe you are incompetent. I don't get it.
Haven't you overflogged this COVID?
No, we have not overflogged it
for too long.
And do you know the reason why we would have
attributing any responsibility to the management of the economy?
We would have recovered from the COVID at least by some percentage by now. But before the COVID ended,
right?
Then we're hit again with Ukraine.
I hear these talking points all the time, Saka, from your guys, because it's just the same thing. We don't hear any admission of, we got it wrong here.
No, but you know where we got it wrong.
Where did you get it wrong? I'm curious because I've never heard any MPP communicator say that they got things wrong.
Where we got it wrong is because of the structure of the economy. As a nation, we have not been able to change the structure of the economy. The structure of the economy here means, if you take our economy, it's based on just, raw materials, export, and all that. We don't add value to whatever that we produce.
Your administration has had 7 years almost to change the structure of the economy.
No, it's not 7 years. To say over 6 years.
Over 6 years to change the structure. What has happened?
Yeah, because look, changing the structure of an economy, that started from Gettysburg time. It would not take you just 7 years to do so.
But those were the promises that your candidate made when he was on the campaign trail.
You see, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. We have just started with a step. We have diagnosed the problems.
It took you 6 years to diagnose the problem?
See, listen, we have diagnosed the problem whilst in opposition. We said that the structure of the economy is a problem, and that is the reason why even in 2015, when John Dramani Mahama went to the IMF, he was blaming China. He said that the factors, the problems in China have confronted us to the extent that we could not, as a nation, hold it. And therefore,
You've had 6 years.
no, I'm coming.
You
I want
you
to
diagnosed
explain.
when you were in opposition.
Yeah, so let me explain it. So we diagnosed all these problems whilst in opposition, and we said that when we come, we are going to change it. And when we came, indeed, we started with the 1D, 1F. The 1D, 1F is geared toward ensuring that we do not depend it's geared toward changing the structure of the economy. Structure of the economy in the sense that now will be export driven. The economy will not just be about production of raw materials, about only importing.
Has 1D, 1F succeeded? Have you done that?
You see, 1D, it's not a cake. It's not a piece of cake you go to the market and buy and come and cut. It's a process. You start building factories, and and it's not just you go and get a factory and then say be and it is. A factory is something that you start from. Sometimes it takes like 4 or 5 years to even get the structures in place. It takes another year for you to get the funding and all those things. We have started, in our case, that is the reason why we wanted to jump some of the processes. And by doing that, you need to get the private sector involved. So we have gotten some of the factories running, others in their embryonic stages. Others are now, doing 1 or 2 things to get up. And even when, we all know that when you are starting even business, it will take time for you even your first year, you can even make losses. Third year, you can make loss. Fourth year, you can make loss. Then you break even. And then you start getting some modicum of profit whilst going. So the factors that we have, if we want to assess the impact will be very minimal as at now. But it's a step, it's a foundation that is bound to grow. And that is what is going to lift us from where we are today. So when people say that, the factories, 7 years, we have it. No. You can have the effect of the factories so, palpable within a period of 7 years.
So has the Gaithersburg economy changed?
We are changing it. And remember, we apart from even the one district, one factory, we have done so much, including one village, one dam, which was just...
And that's going to change the economy of Ghana?
You see, if you have the teeming youth of this country...
How many dams have you done?
You see, I'm coming. We have the teeming youth of this country not working, especially in the north, where employment is seasonal unemployment, where people, during the period of dry season, they don't get jobs to do. People idle and all that.
So what would the dams do for them?
No,
How would the dams give them jobs?
Is to ensure that because if you go to the north, the predominant work is farming.
Like anywhere in Ghana?
Yeah.
It's not just the north.
But I don't think Greater Accra is the predominant work is farming. I don't think so. So you cannot say anywhere in Ghana. So, but I'm saying that if you go to the north, you have the teeming youth that work for like 6 or 5 months, and then the rest of the months they idle. So the one dam, one village, one dam was just towards ensuring that at the period of idling they can use the dams for irrigation purposes, so that we can have food crops all year round.
How many dams have you?
You might say that the success rate of the dam is nothing to write home about. That's for me.
You are the one saying it.
No, but you can say that, or any other person can say that.
I didn't say anything. I said how successful is 1V1?
But at least some of the dams are still working, and the people are profiting from it.
How many?
I cannot sit here and give you the numbers.
But you brought it up. You brought up the
word. I'm telling you some of the things that we are doing.
We need numbers.
And then you knew very well that we
need numbers.
We constructed dams.
How many?
A lot of them. We have about 600 villages in the north. So when we say one village, one dam.
Every village has a dam?
No, when you say one village, you see, that is just a catch phrase. And there are some of the villages that are twin villages. Some of them, they interdepend. So you don't expect, for instance, if you take Kotobabi and Alajo, you don't expect to go and build dam for Kotobabi and build one for Alajo. Because
so some of them is 2 village, 1 dam?
Oh, no, I'm saying
or
that.
3.
I'm saying that the name, one village, one dam, is just always ensuring that we get at least all the villages in the north
Mr. Saleh,
getting to work.
What would you say if somebody says, your party is really good at coming up with great slogans?
And good at delivering it.
One village,
You
one
see,
dam. One district, one factory. Great, but I'm asking for proof that these things have been done, and you're not.
No, but I mean, the proof are there. If you see, I saw Thelma, go the interview,
the mining.
Yeah, the mining thing that just happened right now. And I'm sure that if you people want to know whether or not the one district, one dam is working, you can equally go to the sites where we said that we have constructed the dams, and then let the Ghanaian people know whether or not they are working, how many are working, how many are not working, and all those things.
No, a better way is for you to provide the numbers, and then we go and verify. You give us the statistics, we verify.
We will give you, but as I'm telling you that you because today as I was coming here, that is not a topic. But you see, it just happened that I need to even mention it.
But you brought it up.
It just happened that I have to mention it so that you understand that we are not just sleeping when we talk about changing the structure of the economy. Others came before the NPP, and they did nothing about it.
No, leave the others alone. They're not here to defend themselves.
When they get the opportunity,
they're not here to defend themselves.
When they get the opportunity, they make noise.
I will not speak about people who are not here.
Yeah,
you are here, so I speak to you.
But what I'm saying is that I'm saying that between what we have, in terms of those that can paddle us, out of our problems, the NPP is a better option.
Why should the people of Kumawu vote for the NPP's candidate tomorrow?
Yeah, you see, the people of Kumawu will have to vote for the NPP.
They will have to?
Yeah, I'm saying that they would vote, definitely. There's a reason why I'm saying that. Because of the enormous development that we brought to their doorsteps.
But I've heard Mr. Mahama also say that the infrastructure that you see in Kumawu was brought about by the NDC, and it's only now that this man has passed away, and then all of a sudden roads look like they are being done and gifts are being shared around.
Let's not even give credence to what your mama says, because he is a bundle of contradiction when it comes to some of these things. Even things that he has never done, he has appropriated it to himself.
Let's stick to Kumawu.
We have seen him talk about UGMS, the University of Ghana Medical School, medical hospital. He says that he constructed it. And his communicators are all over the place saying so. He never constructed that thing. He says so many things at Etuoba Gas that he constructed it. When all these things were constructed by Professor Mills. And the same thing, when they talk about Kumawu, they said that why? That they construct the district hospital. When J. Kufuor left so many Eurojet projects for them to construct, they never even finished even one before they left office. Now the Nana Danko Akufo-Addo government is tackling and constructing all those hospitals. And then they will come and tell us that we have not done anything for the people. We'll go to Kumawu and see the stage at which the district hospital.
He says, take the rice, but reject the vote them at the polls.
I mean, I see. Was he not the one? The 400 Ghana cedis that he gave to almost all the delegates of the NDC. Is it not rice? Are they not going to use it for rice? So this is a person that has always bribed his way during elections. And you, in 2018, I took him to Shraj when he was buying votes with cash.
But is rice flowing in Kumawu though?
Pardon?
Is the rice going? Are people saying?
No. I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. That rice. Why would anybody think that the NPP will have to give rice in order to win election in Kumawu? But they did this same thing in Iowa West Wagon when we had the by-election. They said that the NPP was fomenting trouble there, even when everybody knows that the NDC had never won Iowa West Wagon, and when NPP is contesting that election.
Is Kumawu like a vote, a referendum on the performance of the NPP?
No, but
considering that you have some independent guy who's trying to
let me tell you, Kumawu will not be a referendum.
Are you preparing yourself for a loss in case they lose?
We know we will win. For that one, we know. But Kumawu will never be a referendum to test the popularity of NPP.
It's in your stronghold.
That is one reason. It's in our stronghold. The only thing that one can use to test is maybe the turnout. But definitely, I mean, if you want to talk about simple majority, definitely the NPP stand tall to win the Kumu by-election.
But for example, but if the NDC should get a higher percentage, what would that mean?
No, but you see, even if they get higher percentage, it still will mean nothing. It will mean nothing because we all know that all countries around this time are reeling under the COVID impact and all that. And because of that, incumbents are becoming more or less unpopular. We all know that. We are not hiding, we are not running away from this. That is the reason why we said that. One, look at what we have achieved with the IMF. Within a space of less than a year, we've been able to get the staff level, approval, and then the board level approval.
Is it an achievement to get a loan? I mean, no, you apply to a bank, your banker gives you a loan. Is it an achievement?
No, you see, it is achievement.
How is that an achievement?
Listen, no, I'm not. I'm saying it is achievement when you have done that in record time. Time in that. Look, the IMF, what do you call it? Program that we are in now. It's not a bailout, but let me explain.
It's not a bailout?
Yeah,
what is it?
But I'll explain to you.
Is it free money?
No, you see, I'll explain to you. It's not a bailout.
What is it?
But it's a program. We have a program that we have taken to the IMF to help us.
But if you hadn't taken the program, then they wouldn't have given you the money.
No, you see, it is not so much even about the money. Going to the IMF, it's not so much about. It's about
what is it about?
About what it will portend. That the IMF, because all this, we are digressing.
We're
so
not
much.
digressing.
You see,
this is part of the. You say it's an achievement. You yourself say it's an achievement.
Because let me explain the achievement aspect. I'm not saying it is an achievement to go to IMF, but I'm saying that it is an achievement to get the program running within a record time. A record time in the sense that, because look, if you are incompetent, if you don't know what you are about, it will take you years. The likes of Sri Lanka, the likes of Zambia and Co., they are more than 2 years. They are even unable to get the IMF.
So we should.
But you see,
we should clap for you for getting the money in record time.
Listen, if you have
money that we're going to pay back.
No, listen. I mean, we are going to pay back with zero interest. You see, if you have a leader that admits the fact that okay, we are in trouble, things have conspired against us, and therefore, let's do something about it. The president did not dilly-dally.
He admitted that there was a problem?
Yeah, he accepted the problem. He ensured that the government goes straight, to tackle the problem. And within a space of 1 year, we are through with the IMF program. We are on the IMF program. And that is how good leaders are. So that they will not let the populace to be in the bad situation for a very long time. That is competence.
But is this not a problem of your own making? Because the managers of the economy, basically, where we are just means that we've borrowed more than we can pay. We've borrowed externally more than we pay. And I've heard the term policy credibility. We've gone to the IMF for policy credibility, meaning that the policies were not credible.
You see, I explained to you that it is not our making, first of all.
It's not your making?
Yeah, I explained to you the twin disaster.
No, but how did we get into debt?
I'm coming. You see, do you know that? You see, when you talk of governance, for instance, we all accept the fact that our currency hasn't done well after the COVID. We all accept that fact. Before the COVID, our debt level were sustainable. Our currency depreciated heavily. And when your currency depreciates so heavily, it means that your debt itself, whether you borrow or not, if maybe you have $1 million sitting down, as your, let's take it, because we normally use Ghana cedi to calculate our debts. Let's say you have 1 million Ghana cedi sitting down, and once the cedi depreciates, the 1 million will also, appreciate. I don't know whether you are getting me. You see, if, for instance, we have $1 million as our debt, 1 million Ghana cedis as our debt, and then the cedi depreciate by maybe 10%, the 1 million will also increase by 10%.
Where are you going with all of this?
Pardon?
Where are you going with all of this?
No, I'm explaining something to you. That when the debt level rises, does not necessarily mean that we have gone to borrow. The debt level can remain the same and will continue increasing because of the depreciation of the currency.
Who is causing the depreciation
No,
of
I'm
the
coming.
currency?
That is the reason why I told you. And one of the reasons why we went to the IMF is to stabilize the depreciation nature of the currency. We have gone to the IMF for first of all, balance of payments, and we also to ensure that we balance the budget and to stabilize the city.
Can you just stop spending? Can your people just stop
No,
spending?
but you see, when you say
Or lower the spending,
no, when you
because-
say stop spending, it
Yeah.
means that you are telling us that governance should come to a halt. When you say government should not spend, it means that everybody
cut down on,
No,
on,
but
on things that
government
cost a
have
lot of
already
money.
done that.
Too much recurrent
No, you
expenditure.
see, government have already done that. I will be happy if government decide that okay, we'll cut the salaries of GBC workers. I'm sure people will agitate. So priority areas will stay, and government have done that. Areas that are not priority, those are the areas that government is cutting. You remember government brought some cocktails of cuts on expenditure.
We never found out how much was being saved. We always heard about 30%.
A lot was saved.
We've never had the number.
No,
We've never had the number.
I'm saying that-
All I hear,
so
I've
you
asked
have
this
to seek
question.
for the number.
I've asked this question five,
No,
6
who
times.
did you
All I
ask?
say is,
Who did you ask?
don't make it about me.
Yeah,
People
so-
ask the questions, and nobody says this is how much we've saved.
No, but you see-
all you say is 30% cut. 30% cut.
Not
We
only
don't-
the 30%, a
What
lot.
else? Well,
A
how
lot
how
of-
has government saved money?
Policies
Like what?
were taken. For instance, even meetings. Said that nobody should even meet in a big hotel outside Accra or wherever
And
you are.
that will seriously cut down
At
expenditure?
least. And VH, no government officials should use VH during within as town ride and all those things. VH, and then procurement of vehicles were stopped completely. And that you can only procure vehicles when maybe the Flagstaff House give you the go ahead, when it is so necessary. You understand? There are so many things that the government brought.
But we never
to
saw
ensure.
we never saw a figure attached to those things.
No, but
you
you
see,
see,
it's
that
all,
is another
it
thing.
sounds nice and great, but
Yeah, because
where are the figures?
how would you attach a figure to maybe a situation where government says that don't go into a meet or 50% cut on coupons that is given to public officials and all those.
It's simple. If you are spending 1 million CDs on fuel, you cut. Then we know that.
So
you want us to go and calculate?
And come on. How about the situation where government says that okay, when you are doing your meetings, ensure that you do it in a you can have a meeting in a very modest place other than carrying a whole people and go and stay in a hotel and then expenditure. How do you quantify that?
You use numbers.
What numbers? Last year we spent this thing on,
and now this year we have not spent
those things. It's
it's not necessary. But the people of Ghana need to know.
But
you are accountable to the people of
Ghana. The fact of the
Ghana.
matter is that everybody knows that things are not the way it should. Everybody knows that, and government itself knows that, and that is the reason why we went for the IMF program. And those that are pontificating and shouting from the rooftop as if when you give governance to them, they will do magic, have failed us miserably in the past. John Mahama and his co-hosts.
There's nobody from the NDC
I'm
here.
not saying they are here.
So
I am not saying they are here, but they are listening.
Because they cannot respond
No,
to
no,
you.
they
can't
are
respond to you.
listening.
No, but we don't
You
work
see,
like
these
that
are-
here.
you see-
We don't work like
No,
that here.
no, no,
At GTV,
even
you
if
need
they
to be
don't-
around
no,
to
no,
respond
listen,
to. So
listen.
please,
I mean,
let's have our
I
conversation.
know you invited them. They didn't come. They didn't come. So when we are telling them the truth, they should hear it from their homes. And I'm saying that they have a record. The John Mahama and his people have a record, and the record is bad. It's bad. It's even shameful for them to even attempt to get back to the Flagstaff House with all the embarrassment they caused this nation.
You think?
With
Don't you think
all-
Ghanaians will make that decision in December?
No, Ghanaians will make that decision. I'm a Ghanaian. And I need to let people who are yet to make make their mind to understand the sort of people that we are dealing with.
So Kumawu is a coach up.
I am saying the people of Kumawu have benefited from the free SHS of this government. The people of Kumawu have benefited from the 1D, 1F the Kumawu constituency have gotten their ambulance out of the 307 ambulances that we provide. Never in the history of this country has a single government at one point. You see.
So why was the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP on his knees begging for votes?
I don't know the reason why he was. He was
Because if the record is clear, why the drama? Why does he have to go on his knees?
So I don't know, but everybody in a style of doing campaign. I wouldn't go begging. He would go begging. You understand? So
what message does he send out to the people? I mean,
the message sending to. I mean that's what I'm saying. It is his style of ensuring that he gets the vote for the people. Maybe he feel like that is the way he can use to get them. Others will not do that. But I think that you cannot fault him for kneeling. That shows humility.
I'm asking why.
But that shows humility. If somebody with all his whatever, his wealth and his abrasiveness can go down to that level and then beg for the vote, it tells you. And such a person, whatever that he thinks he has done and therefore needs forgiveness, I'm not sure that he will go back to that again.
Is your party feeling the heat from the independent candidates?
Well, I mean, you see, of course,
He may split the vote.
Of course. I mean, even one vote that he will get. The last election, he contested, but Philip Bashua won.
Yeah, 50 something.
You understand? He won. I think he had about 14,000. The independent candidate had 11,000. So the independent vote should have been MPP vote. You understand? So, and fortunately, when it comes to parliamentary election, it's about simple majority. It's not about 50% plus one. So, even though it will not let the figures look good, but at the end of the day, the MPP is, sure to win that election. And I don't think that an independent, for the NDC and their candidates or whatever, we don't know, nobody is even talking about them. Because they are not part of the equation.
Completely.
They are not.
It's a straight fight between
is not part of the equation at all.
It's a straight fight between the independent.
It's a straight fight between the independent candidate and then the MPP candidate. But we all know the outcome. The outcome is going to be a victory for the MPP. Nobody can doubt that.
If you wake up on Wednesday and find out that somebody else won apart from your candidate, how would you feel?
No, that is unimaginable. And I don't think that anybody can envisage that. I mean, it's completely out of the way. Especially like I was telling you. I mean, the people of Kumawu, they understand though. It's like you in your family, maybe you are going through hardship at a point, and you think that your family will jettison or fault you just because some natural disaster has happened or some mishap has happened in your family. No, the people of Kumawu are family. The Ashanti region as a region itself understand and know very well. I mean, the kind of development that they have gotten from the MPP. And Kumawu is part of the region. And they understand. That is the reason why I told you that when it comes to the free SHS, they are part of even the one district, one factory. They have gotten their part. Almost everything that this government brought, they are enjoying it. And if you look at the Kumawu town roads, we are doing a lot. And because
did the roads just start?
No. You see, that's why I'm going to say it. Because our opponent want to dilute the importance of what we are doing. They say, "Oh, you are starting it now." I want anybody within any part of the country who disagree with me to come and tell me that there is no road construction going on in their area. Maybe it is possible because me, for instance, where I am, part of it has been done completely. And if you look at it, you will marvel. And if you go to another side, it still need much to, much still needs.
So work is on progress.
When we have done something in Kumawu, and then we are doing another thing during the period, getting to the by-election period, it doesn't mean that everything was stopped and all of a sudden we have started doing something in Kumawu.
So what's your prediction?
Our prediction is that the NPP candidate is going to get 60% of the vote.
60%?
60%.
All right.
At least. If we don't even get at all, 60% of the votes will be garnered.
Mr. Sakasalia, it's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Wish you the best. Are you going there?
No, I'm in Accra.
You'll be monitoring from Accra?
I will be monitoring. My people are there. Henry Kuti and all. They're all there. They're
Okay.
all there ensuring that we get victory.
Okay, Operation 60.
Yeah, Operation 60.
Okay,
I'm
alright.
sure, you see, that is my
Yeah.
prediction. But I'm sure our people will be talking about 70 and all that. But I know, I mean, in terms of the reality on the ground,
You're winning.
that the MPP candidate will get not less than 60% of the vote.
We'll see how things play out. Saka Salia speaks for the MPP. He's part of the communication team. We were supposed to have with us Ambassador Sampi Yale, former High Commissioner to India and other countries, representing the NDC. He did not make it to the conversation, and so that's how come I had a conversation with Mrs. Salia. Up next, conversations on allowances that have been struck off. As far as GBC workers are concerned, they're not too happy about that. We'll find out exactly what the whole issue is. And then there's also a conversation on anti-terrorism and breakfast with K Smooth. You are watching #GTV Breakfast. Stick around, do not go anywhere.